Hey YouTube, this is React City and Paul.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is Reactcast Podcast Season 3.
Episode
1.
Wow.
Welcome
New
to
year.
2024.
Yeah, so new year, but same old. We're talking about anime here, so we got
Yes.
some fun facts this time. So we just started watching Oshinoko. We all enjoy that show. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. I think tomorrow, actually. And so we've got a fun fact that has to do with it. It is about Ai. So Ai wasn't actually supposed to die initially during serialization.
No.
He changed his mind while writing the story. So according to Ranker.com, Akasa admitted that the decision to kill off Ai came during serialization. In the original premise, Ai and her children, Aqua and Ruby, would be both active in the entertainment industry at the same time. But when he was writing the series, he realized Ai was way too strong of a character. Out of fear of Ai outshining her presence, outshining her own children, he envisioned that the protagonist of the story would be the children, and so he just made the decision to kill her off.
Wow. But, I mean, that's
the entire story centers around that.
Yeah,
though.
that's kind of weird. Unless maybe it's just a red herring that is currently centering around her, but it's not about her.
You know, that's what I started to think. It's like, wait, so does that mean most of this show is just going to be about entertainment and it's going to be a side thing dealing with the Ai thing?
Yeah. You know, I was wondering a little bit, I didn't really imagine this, but I was wondering a little bit about, wait, what is the point? Because his focus right now is taking care of his little sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did have a little flashback, but I thought it would be more about seeking revenge and going after this guy.
Yeah.
But he even seemed to have given up on that in the whatever episode we just watched, number 2.
Or at least isn't as fervent. on
Yeah,
it.
his fervency is kind of shifted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that maybe this also might be telling us that the author is kind of making it up as he goes along. That's not really an insult or anything, but it's just like where he feels like it should be going, he's only maybe a couple chapters ahead. Maybe something like that.
Interesting. I wonder if he has like the end decided.
Well, we don't know how far the manga is as compared to the anime.
Yeah, it's fairly fresh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this was made by the guy who made Love is War. So, I mean,
Oh.
this was the new manga that he was talking about. We talked about podcasts like a year ago.
Wow, it's come around.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Someone reading that. It's like, oh my god, wait, this is that guy?
I was like, that's the same guy.
That made me wonder, do you notice any similarities between the two shows?
I did start noticing in the like the lighting,
Mm-hmm.
like in Love is War, they have really nice lighting, especially during like more
Romancy.
thinking of romance moments or the strategizing moments where it's like you gotta figure out how to make this person confess. But yeah, those moments are similar. In Oshinoko, it's way more like I don't know how to explain it. It's more glitzy and more like, oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that also fits the show more. Other than that, I think the little mental wars we might be having with Aqua trying to figure out who is who and who's connected to what, we might be seeing more similarities in how he's thinking and how the characters in Kaga and Love is War thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of characters thinking, what do you think about like Ruby and Aqua so far? Because Aqua seems to be, I know they're both protagonists, but Aqua's really the driving force so
Yeah.
far. And we're on episode 2, so that
Yeah.
can change.
Mm-hmm.
But Ruby doesn't seem to be the type of person who thinks too deeply about things.
No.
And I mean, she's not like an idiot, but she's definitely not concerned about the greater picture at all. And it makes me wonder, is
Very
she a secondary
narrow-minded.
protagonist, or is she just like a side character here?
Well, maybe in like maybe next they might be alternating who's we're following. Maybe
I'd love that.
Maybe that would be good.
between episodes. So maybe we might see more of Ruby's actual in-depth thinking. Like maybe she wants to be more airheaded in this life. Maybe that's what she doesn't want to think deeply about things because she had a whole life thinking deeply about really dark things and like
That
the end
makes
of her
sense.
life and whatever. Okay. Maybe she just wants this life that like I portrayed of like everything's happy and shiny and whatever.
The lie. Maybe she's embraced that. Her mother never explained that to her, so she doesn't know about that. But she probably doing her own version of it,
Maybe, yeah, probably.
and that would make a lot of sense because she I thought of it like she was an otaku,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so she basically enveloped herself in this other world to escape her own.
Mm-hmm.
So now that she's actually in this other world, it's like she's still trying to escape her own. Like even when she was a child, she's trying to be this other thing, and she kept being drawn back into her past, in her memories.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense that she seems airheaded and seems like so blind to reality, but she's doing it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that would cause so much drama. I could see it in the future, like 30 episodes in or something. She starts to like wonder about her own mom. If were you a liar, mom? Because she's got this perfect image of her mom, right?
Yes.
But it's not necessarily true.
Yes.
And
Aqua is the only one who knows the actual conversation that they had on the rooftop when he was the doctor.
Yes.
And even when the door was closed and she was holding him and she was bleeding out, I wonder if
She's-
that's supposed to be like an analogy for the way they see the mom. Like she never saw the other
Yes.
side of him.
She's seeing through this glaze,
Yeah.
this fuzzy, vague picture of what she believes is a good.
Yeah.
She never got to see the blood and gore,
The truth.
the truth.
The ugly truth.
And she wasn't even there when her mom was giving the speech to the guy.
Yeah, that's
Remember,
what
she
I'm saying.
came later.
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about that too. I just realized that part. Like, yes, I was talking about like him just seeing the actual blood and gore.
Yeah, yeah.
But Aqua knew everything right down to like her confession to this guy who killed her. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dude, that kind of gets me excited because that's going to be really good.
Yes.
Unfortunately, only 11 episodes right now. But
Oh, I'm
But
excited.
is this the whole season? 11 episodes?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of TV shows that are coming out and existing in the time frame. So we watched other TV shows.
Great segue.
You like a segue?
Yeah.
Pretty good segue?
Spectacular.
So, let me just go right here. Yeah. So, I say British news shows. We've got Oshinoko 86 and Freerun coming out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how with Freerun, they actually released the first 4 episodes at the same time, and I didn't realize that, or I didn't
really?
remember that until we were putting up the shows, because we got a comment saying, it's interesting how you guys are putting out one at a time, but everyone else put out all 4 the first time, and it's just like, I didn't realize that's what they did, but also we couldn't do that right now if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, so that explains why episode 4 it seems like it's the start of the adventure or the end of the prologue.
Yeah.
Because it was.
It was.
Yeah.
So this is the equivalent. You know, this would have been a better segue from Oshinoko. It's the equivalent of Oshinoko's like 1 hour movie.
Movie prologue.
Movie prologue. They just did
Episode
4
1.
episodes.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
I wonder what made them want to do that, because them doing that Oshinoko in the same kind of year.
yeah.
Interesting
I
choice.
think it was like a thing the writers were talking among themselves.
Maybe people are trying to break the 3-episode pilot rule.
I mean, just put it all in one.
Yes.
get it out.
Yeah, or just like condense it.
They're trying to crack the code.
You know, it's funny you say that. We got a couple comments on 86. People were saying, wait till episode 4, that's when it gets good.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, 3-episode rule.
3-episode rule.
We did get to episode 4, right?
Yeah.
We just did that
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Which made me want to ask you guys, I mean, obviously spoilers up to episode 4. What do you guys think of the show now that we've kind of gotten started with 86? We can go back to forever.
I think it's really it's an interesting, what is the word, like, thought exercise on, like, how people were thinking, like, in times of, like, Nazi Germany. It's like, because not everybody was about it, but, like, the vast majority of people went with it because it was the easiest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, even the people who didn't want to see other people as less than, were they really doing their best?
Yeah.
Or were they just thinking like, oh, I'm not the other people who don't think that they're human?
Yeah. Kind of
Like the
embracing
different
ideals.
levels of like not racism
Yes.
versus racism, you know?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's definitely something interesting I have noticed from the show so far. Because anybody watching would think and see Lena as being pretty wholehearted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But these guys are like, nah. And even Uncle is like, nah.
Yeah.
So then Lena's like, oh, wow, no.
Yeah.
You know, even Lena's like, oh, I'm not
It's
good
like,
either.
oh, would you look at that?
Yeah, so I'm it's kind of making me think too, because it's like, wow, I would have probably fallen into that trap too, if because I didn't think that deeply
Yeah.
about her actions.
Mhm.
Like, I forgot to ask their names. It's like, I thought, did Black Dog's not your name? It's not? Really? I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Mhm. It's like just not seeing them as not trash doesn't mean you're seeing them
Them
as
as
human.
human.
type of thing.
Exactly.
As equals.
That's,
Mhm.
that's good to say.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, coming off of the heels of watching Attack on Titan, and I know this show, the season ended way before Attack on Titan. It's nice to be in another show that kind of deals with that kind of question. But I'm hoping that it's not boring or anything, but I can see the story beats and I can kind of feel the direction we're heading with like rebellious against the government. We're gonna have to work for them for a while, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering when the twists and turns are gonna come along aside from people dying, because I mean it's not cheap or anything when you kill off a character, but I kind of get used to that.
Yeah.
But so I want to see an interesting story turn that makes the genre be like, oh wow, I didn't expect you to ever do something like that. I'm looking for that.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was gonna even say like you're not even just you getting used to it. These people like the very next day they're playing like nothing happened because
Yeah,
this is what they do.
Yeah.
They lose someone, they mourn for 2 minutes, maybe half an hour,
Mhm.
and they have to just shake it off.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like even for us who are watching, who technically wouldn't be feeling it as bad because we just got to know these people, I feel like it's kind of what they want you to feel in the show when people die. They want you to feel like or experience what they're experiencing in a sense,
Mhm.
where it's like you can't care.
Mm.
Yeah.
Too many people are going to die.
Mhm.
You can't care.
And life is too short for you to spend it, mourning
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah,
Mm.
you would always be sad like Shin.
Speaking of caring, one of the girls pointed out when the guy was fumbling with the button. At first, I thought they were talking about him caring about Kurtzblue when she died, but I guess they might have been talking about Commander with
I
the button
think
thing.
so, and it makes sense now
Yeah.
because we learned he was an Alba.
So now that we've had that be brought up, that really shows all their mindset of no one cares about us even within this unit. We're just all gonna die one day.
Mm.
They just have fun while they can.
Yeah, because they were saying like it's nice that you have somebody you care about that much. Meanwhile, sitting next to like 30 other people.
Yeah, that you take. I don't.
Yeah. It's an interesting juxtaposition, I guess.
Yeah.
They're just relying on Shin to take them to the promised land when they're all dead.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. Hmm.
Shin, so are his eyes always red, by the way?
I think so.
I couldn't remember.
Because
Like,
I'm also wondering if this is
I
another Kid Exile eye
it was-
glow thing going on here.
red
I
hair,
think
red
I
eyes.
think they made it look redder in this
Yeah.
in the little scene at
Yeah.
the end, but I think his eyes are usually red, just
They're
a
usually
slightly duller red. Like
Okay.
not as vibrant. red.
Okay.
Okay, that's acceptable. That's
It's acceptable.
Yeah,
Acceptable.
let's go with that.
Anything else on that, or we can talk a little bit about Freerun?
We can talk about Freeman.
Alright. Yeah, so Freerun, that's the most relaxed in terms of pacing, I
Yeah.
feel like, so far, because they're just kind of existing and doing what they want to do.
Mm.
But we just left off, they're going to go off on another possibly 10-year adventure
Yeah.
to find, not to kill the Demon King or anything, just to go say hi to a friend.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because she regrets it.
Yeah.
Poor friend.
Yeah.
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 10 years of your life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for Freerin, yes, I said it right. Freerin, she could have waited because literally,
Yeah, just give her a chance.
yeah, to live her own life
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Her best 10 years
Yeah,
on
because
a
she's
journey.
well, yeah, that is like her prime young adult years because
Yeah.
she just turned 18, or I think she's
16.
16. Yeah.
Maybe 17 now because it was a year later since she said that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So she's 17. Next 10 years, she's gonna be 27.
Well, she's going to learn how to fight on this journey, and that's
Yes.
what's really important.
It's really
Yes.
important. Yeah, and perhaps fight the Demon King a second time.
I'm wondering if this whole Euroshara thing is more than just significance in terms of years. Maybe actually every 50 years something happens or something like that.
Yeah.
She's going to be the one to train the next generation or something.
Mm.
Because she's going to be a monster by the end of this.
Who,
Yeah.
Frieren?
Fern.
Fern.
Oh, Fern. Yeah. I was going to say maybe this adds to the reason like Frieren is so nonchalant about it. It's like 10-year journeys. We killed the Demon King.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, this is like my third one. So,
I'm curious how they killed him. Like, is it going to
Same.
show exactly what went down? Because they sealed Qual and left him there all that time.
Mhm.
So if they were confident in their own power after killing the Demon King, why wouldn't they just come back, finish him off, and not let this thing sit there for so long, you know?
Maybe Qual was is like one of those mini bosses that's actually harder than the actual boss. But like you just have to find your way around him rather than through him.
yeah.
I think maybe that's what Qual was.
Yeah.
Smart.
Probably, and seeing that they had to seal and not kill because they killed the Demon King.
And also, I think they had said that it was earlier in their journey where they met
Yeah.
Qual,
Ah,
so
yes.
they probably weren't as strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
what I'm
did
thinking. Like, if they
level
were,
up.
if they were weaker back then, get stronger, kill King. Why not finish this while you're all together and still in your prime, versus leaving it?
And also, we are technically retracing our steps on the 10-year journey, according to Frieren,
Yeah.
a little bit. and this is the earlier part of the journey. So they definitely were on their weaker selves, maybe a year in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they had not like researched his death beam or whatever at the time.
I will say, at first I was a little hesitant. I didn't dislike it, but I was just wondering about like the tone of the show, if it was gonna be able to keep us entertained, because it's so soft.
I was
It is
wondering
very
about that
soft.
too.
It's so gentle, but I have to say, it's enthralling
It's
because of
very
that.
enthralling.
It's
Yeah.
super enthralling. Like it sucks you into the world. The music, and you're watching the scenery, and they have a lot of montages.
Yeah.
But we don't get sick of it. It's like, oh, it's time on a montage journey time.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere. But it always fits, and every time it's a soft moment, and Friren's little voice and Fern's little voice, and it's just, I'm really enjoying it. I'm like surprised, you know.
I'm getting Vinland Saga vibes off of it in terms of, even though Vinland Saga had a lot more like mental issues and stuff like that, it had a lot of take in the moments, take in the atmosphere, and I'm
Yeah.
getting that a lot from Frieren.
Yeah, done very well. I'm very happy about that.
It also helps that it's very visually pleasing.
Yes,
Yes.
Very, very
beautiful,
pretty.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And you know something, I don't know why this is interesting to me, but whenever I see characters of different heights, and they're not vastly different heights, but they're just slightly different heights, it just makes me like happy.
It's like,
I don't know why. Like the fact that Fern is just like a couple inches taller than Frieren, it's just, I love it so much.
I see it as attention to detail.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what makes it worse? Because I'm a Sims player, right?
Yeah.
And in The Sims, everyone's the same height.
Yeah.
So you can't really, like, you make characters, and you like imagine in your head this one's shorter than this one, but they're not.
I never considered the fact that they're all the same height.
Yes.
That's crazy.
What makes it worse is like in The Sims 4, they have different age groups, like young adult to adult, and they're the same height. And all that changes is some facial features
some
to make,
wrinkles,
like
yeah.
they look a little bit rounder in normal adults, and then in adult they get a little few wrinkles, like some of the smile lines.
Sims 3, you said?
Sims 4.
4.
But they're the same exact height, so if you keep their clothing, you will forget their age. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're old. It's like, what? Last time I looked, you were a young adult.
Happens to me all the time. Yeah.
You're very used to minimum effort.
Yes. So like I just the scene that I keep remembering because I just edited it was when she found the book, and Fern all of a sudden is over Frida's shoulder, and it's like, oh yeah, you are taller. Look at you, just peering over her shoulder. So cute.
I think maybe that they're also showing that like Fern is changing, Frieren is not.
Yes.
I think that's like another thing just to remind
Yes.
us like Frieren is the one who's stuck in time basically.
Yes.
But Fern has to keep going and going. You know?
That's true.
It's probably gonna break our hearts by the end of the season.
Yeah. That's speaking of which, we have our friend in the Discord, Mr. 10 before 9, keeps reminding us that don't worry, you wait for it.
Oh no. We're gonna get to the heartbreak.
Yeah, but he did say that the type of heartbreak is different, just like we suspected in the beginning between 86 and Frieren. It's more sweet, gentle breaking in Frieren, but definitely heartbreak in Frieren still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
there's an air of sadness in Frieren sometimes.
It is
especially when
still
dealing with
there.
like Aizen. It's because like
Yes.
I mean Aizen, you know he's gonna die.
Yeah.
But there's also a sadness of he's just older now and he can't go around with them. Even though he jumps through the trees like
Runs
he's
on
Neo.
water.
Literally runs on water.
Ridiculous. I mean, how strong was he before?
He was
He's
like,
like-
listen, I can't keep up with you, girl. What,
Are you sure?
Was that not keeping up?
Goodness.
It's his standards, man.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, yeah, I do feel sad when they're speaking to each other, just because you know that this is not gonna last forever.
Yeah.
It's like it's weird, interesting kind of like whenever they make a movie about like aging or whatever, it's like that kind of sadness.
Yeah.
But everybody is young.
Yes.
But it's like the mortality of it all is like very plain.
poignant. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, their time is aging,
Yes.
even if the person isn't.
One more thing, I wanted to talk about like how I like how Frieren shows like how magic advanced
Yeah.
Like the way technology would have advanced.
Yes.
Like build it just because like one mage was like really good at stuff doesn't mean like another person can't like also figure it out and develop it more.
Yes.
I
But
love
like
that.
it
I like that
also
too.
like advanced all of magic. Like everybody figured it out
Everybody.
as well.
Yes.
I really
like,
like that.
right down to the most basic mage is like, that's just offensive magic.
It's just the fancy ones.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I think it adds to world building.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something, it's interesting. They're doing world building, but in terms of like knowledge of the world is very slow. But visual of the world, like getting a feel of what things look like, what's there, herbs, you know, their journey and stuff like that. We get a lot more visual building.
Mm-hmm.
But knowledge of it, I feel like we got a little bit in the first episode with, oh, this is the era marking, we're having a festival. We get a little bit in the when they the what is it, the new year celebration,
Yeah,
watching the
yeah.
sunrise.
Thing.
But I also feel like I wonder how much of these are localized things versus you know a whole world thing. So I do enjoy like at least this show so far, like learning more about the world and the way people think and like what do you think about elves? Like that guy that, oh, is this an elf coming? Like how do people react to seeing an elf?
Yeah.
Seeing that they live so long and apparently magic is not their normal thing. Just you can pick it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what are there other elves? Like where's Frieren from?
Mhm.
I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know, just little things like seeing the boats off in the distance. I could be way off with it, but just seeing the complex rigging and stuff, I thought, is this supposed to be like an indicator of how advanced things have become? But the boat looked extremely complicated. Not in the previous episode where they cleaned the beach.
The one before
The one
with
before
the
where we
birds.
saw the ones flying by. I mean,
Yeah.
sailing by.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, and seeing the buildings themselves in the
Yes.
flashbacks, they didn't look as not complex, but the paintings and the way the houses were painted and the way they were set up
Yeah.
didn't look as stacked on top of each other as they do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like everything was getting better,
Yes.
more advanced rather. So also, we've got an editor who's running a couple test runs. I actually haven't gotten to see the.
Oh, you didn't look at
video.
it yet?
No, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I was going to look at it today to see how he did. But if that works out, that does open up a lot of new avenues. Because, I mean, he seems to work relatively quickly, so we could do like a show a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like start and then give him the rest.
Yeah.
So, exciting new opportunities for this year.
Yeah.
Speaking of new opportunities, this Saturday, so by the time you see this, it will have been out. We have a test show that is coming. Solo Leveling. We talked
Oh
about this in the
yeah.
past.
So yeah, it's a test show. So we're gonna watch one episode or something, see how it does.
I'm thinking we present it as a test show.
Oh, just in
because
case.
We have never dropped a show.
Mm.
But we do want to ramp up and do bigger shows and get more viewers and stuff like that this year especially. So if it doesn't do well, I think we should probably just drop it. But I think it will do well because I looked up a couple of the trailers and every single one of them have 2 million plus views on Crunchyroll. So that's usually a pretty good indicator of how much people want to see this show. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
It's an anime, right?
Yes, but it comes from a manga.
Oh, that's right.
That's
I knew
what
there
I-
was something
Yeah.
about it.
Manhwa.
That's my only like, because a lot of people who are into anime are they just know about anime.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even know manhwa and manhwa and manhua existed. Really, I mean, it makes sense that they should exist, but I didn't know they had like a following and people behind it. So I feel like the mainstream people, I don't know how much of them are like, oh, Solo Leveling, or maybe they'll hear about it and be like, oh yeah, sure, I know about that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know like the origins so much. They don't really care. They're just like, oh, people are watching it, I'll watch it too.
Yeah, and I'm also really curious about how they're going to animate it. Like, is the style going to be visually different? Is the way the fights go going to be more akin to manhwas? Because remember in manhwas, they have a lot of... I think actually I saw like a still from the trailer, so it might actually be in there. But they do a lot of things where there's a punch and they show like a blue streak for the punch. You know what I'm talking about?
Like
think
like
there's a
animating of the
fading hit.
speed, maybe.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see like the little things that were in the manhwas. I don't see
Oh.
mangas
I
in
see.
the animated show.
Yeah,
So.
I see.
So you didn't watch the trailer?
No, I saw a still from the trailer. Like I saw it when I looked up the images.
Okay.
This is the poster, by the way. I don't know if I ever showed you. A couple people on there.
Oh, I like it.
Literally just two.
I like it.
Okay, cool.
It looks good.
Yeah, so I mean, I know it got popular initially off of how good its art was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not someone who needs the art to be good, but if it's great, I'm all for
It
it.
adds
So
to it, yeah.
it adds to it. I'm looking forward to what the story is going to be about. So what drew people in so much?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about it? Because I know you read more manhwas than me.
I actually have never watched Solo Leveling. Everybody like in the comment section of like anything slightly actiony of a manhwa was like, this is almost as good as Solo Leveling. If you like this, you should also check out Solo. Like every single one, I'm just like, but like it's this thing with me that
When
if you
people
recommend
recommend
it to me, I'm almost definitely not gonna watch it for some reason. It's weird. I don't understand. Like you could tell me like this is perfect for you, you'll love it. I'm not gonna watch it because you told me about it.
Because it became a job for you.
Because it came down, yeah, maybe.
Obligatory.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that, and it's this Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I think, the only live show
Yes.
for right now.
Mhm.
But we do have a couple slots open just in case. We still have like Monday, Tuesday, just in case anything comes out that we want to see.
Mhm.
Um,
With adapting like a manhwa or a comic or anything into like animated media, I always wonder how much of like the stylistic choices of the manhwas are going to be brought over to like
Yes.
the actual animation.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about with the
Mhm.
blue streak thing.
Yeah, that thing. Do you find that like for sometimes when for other stuff that have been brought over from comics specifically into like an animated TV show or whatever, I find that sometimes when they do it too much, it's almost like jarring and I don't like it. Like even with Yuki, when Jujutsu Kaisen, when they made her
Right.
like,
Sorry, but
more,
it broke it for me.
yeah,
Yeah,
more
I agree.
cartoonish
more
art style.
cartoonish, yeah. But like I feel like in a
Manga would have
manga, you would have brushed past that and it wouldn't have bothered you so much. It would have just been like a part of her personality or whatever. Have you guys ever like thought of?
Yeah, I have. I think it really messes with it, especially because there's more senses involved when you're watching anime.
Yeah.
Like you're hearing the music, you're hearing the people speak, and the fights have impact. And so when you do something like you change the art style, it messes everything up.
Mhm.
And I really do feel like it messes things up. I don't think it adds anything to the scene to do things
Yeah.
like that. I understand it to show the personality, but I think that's a situation where you need the director to be skilled enough to be able to portray that personality without compromising the rest of the show.
Mhm.
And I know some people don't mind it at all, and some people even like it. I'm very strongly against. I don't like it. It doesn't ruin any show for me. It's just whenever I see it, just like that added nothing for me. Maybe even taking something away.
Yeah.
That's how I've always felt about it. If you wanted to add comedy, then make someone make a funny joke or have them laugh as they run away. You know, don't
Yeah.
change the art style. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It takes you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
Something that I was thinking about for manhwas in general, I thought I heard you talk about, or maybe you were talking about dramas, but I thought you talked about like the violence level, like, or the
Yeah.
something about that is like different.
In manhwas.
Is manhwas?
I think it was manhwas. In general, when I've read manhwas, whenever they deal with things like vengeance or payback, it's usually extreme or to the point where you think that's a bit more than balancing the odds here.
Yeah.
A bit more than evening it out.
Mhm.
But there's a sense of justice behind it that makes you realize that this is almost like I don't want to say ingrained cultural thing, like it's an issue or
But this
anything.
is something people would accept that it should be.
Yeah, it's more accessible.
Yeah.
It really feels like. Whereas in Japanese anime, I don't really feel like the jump is that much bigger.
Mhm.
So you said manhwas. That's the HUA.
No,
Not manhwa.
HUA is the Chinese one, right?
Yeah. So which one are you talking about?
HWA.
Oh, so that's the one that
Manhwa.
Solo Level is.
Yes, manhua is the Chinese version, I believe.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've seen other things, not just art style, that can really hurt a show.
Mhm.
For instance, with Berserk, I had seen the original Berserk anime, the 1990s version,
Mhm.
and when they made a new version, I was curious to see how they would change it because the idea was they wanted to continue with the story going forward.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer, and I knew I wouldn't like it because it was one of those shows that when 3D was starting to become very popular, not 3D, CGI 3D,
Yeah.
and it was terrible. In my opinion, it was terrible.
Simply terrible.
And I heard the audio, and the audio is what killed it for me.
Oh, really?
Because there's a sound they make when the sword that Guts is swinging, the iconic Dragon Slayer, when it hits other steel, it makes like a sound of if you took like a metal bat and hit a steel drum. And I get what they're doing. It's supposed to be like echoing, very powerful sound, but it
Yeah.
just does not match it for me at all.
It's not a sword.
And it sounds like aluminum, like very loud aluminum.
Oh, it doesn't sound. It sounds like a cheap sword.
And the thing is, it's the director, and the director is kind of known for having this certain sound style that he does. And a lot of people complained about it. People eventually got used to it, and they watched it, and I heard that eventually the story was good. But I mean, the story was always good. It was just kind of the way you're portraying it.
Yeah, that's what you were looking forward to.
So that's why I think when you see people doing adaptations of mangas, if you get into the weeds of it, it's like looking out for a director in film. You know that this is going to be good because this director has a certain style that adapts things well.
Yeah.
Like when Sam Raimi is going to adapt a new superhero movies, you know it's going to be a bit more campy, a bit more light, but also going to be way more faithful to the show. But Sam Raimi, that's all he does. You know, he's very faithful to the shows. He's the one who did the original Spider-Man movies. So totally,
Cool.
yeah. So stuff like that. Just look out for directors. Which I'm nowhere near that level of starting to look out for directors of anime. But I have started to notice a couple manga names here and there.
Oh.
I don't notice a
I
thing.
Zero.
The
Zero.
thing is, the mangaka, they usually only do one that gets big, right?
Yeah.
So you don't usually have to know them across multiple. The first one that I know across multiple is Love is War Guy, who's also doing Oshinoko.
Yeah.
This guy's hit gold.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be worth millions of dollars, maybe.
I wonder what they make.
Well, I just realized that. I guess like slice of life with some menacing is like his thing. Slice of menacing. That's his thing.
menacing.
Love is War was Slice of Life, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
more slice of life, romance slice of life, but they were like competing to make the other person confess to them, because for them, the tagline is always the first person who confesses loses. Yeah.
Yeah, I recall the storyline. It's just I was wondering how much of that was actually the battle between the two, and how much was all right. Let's go to school today.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a healthy mix of both. Like it's always like, let's just go to school today, but also like, oh, there he is, there's my crush, or oh, there she is, she looks so cute today, but I can't say it because I have to act cool and normal and whatever, you know,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
I don't know if I could deal with that for
It's
episodes.
very-
That's why I never
cute.
saw it.
It's cute because it's like they both kind of figure out that the other person might have feelings for them, so they kind of know, but also they're like, but you have to tell me though. You have to say it first.
Yeah.
And like all of their friends are kind of, well, not all of their friends. Some of their friends are like, you should just tell him, please. Let's just get this over with.
Okay.
3 seasons of Will They Won't They.
I know.
But the thing is, it's like, it's not even will they, won't they. It's like, they will. But like how long it
Yeah,
takes.
that's what I mean. It's like I don't like.
Every romance is they will.
Yeah, it's just like.
I understand though it might be more enjoyable because there's more knowledge in between the two than a normal romance where they'd be like, I don't know, but he's with
like,
that girl.
Yeah. It's like, but what are my
He
feelings?
she smiled at him. That means she hates me.
Yeah.
That usually is what happens when in the other ones because there's no real knowledge, but there is knowledge here. But they're like spiting each other.
Yeah, it's like they completely skip the arc of finding their feelings. They've already found their feelings. They're here.
They're obsessed with each other, but
yes.
pretending to not be.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know how we got there.
Oh,
Yeah.
because he's the author of Oshinoko. That made
Yeah.
multiple shows. I'm trying to think, but didn't we know of, on that topic of authors who get big on more than one show, Attack on Titans. The author of Attack on Titan, I could have sworn, I don't know if I'm mixing them up, that they were author like of many shows, or was it just Attack on Titan?
I'm pretty sure he's only ever done Attack on
Okay,
Titan.
so it's somebody else. Because I remember on a podcast, we were looking at this list of somebody doing all these shows. I was like, oh, look at that show, that show, that show.
I remember that. I think
that was studio. That was
For the studio.
studio.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was that. But I was thinking of the husband to the woman who did Sailor Moon. I remember he did a bunch of stuff.
Hunter Hunter. That's a Hunter Hunter.
That's Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's only ever done Hunter x Hunter.
He did a couple.
If he ever did something else while doing Hunter x Hunter, when he could have been doing Hunter x Hunter, I will.
I mean, like
they're done
before
in the
Hunter
past.
x Hunter, I
Okay,
think
okay.
he's done something else. I don't remember what it is.
It's just such a life-consuming task to be
It is.
mangaka.
It
is.
It's like, I can't imagine you could do multiple at once.
That's true.
But
It's
I
a
mean,
lot of work. Those arts. It's like you're doing full-on art, like a art piece. I take hours to do one art piece of just someone's head.
Yeah.
Like you're doing that, like of panels.
you're storyboarding.
Yes.
You're inking. You're positioning every single person. If you're lucky, you can have someone do the coloring for you.
Yes.
But
It's a
even
lot
then,
of
you're gonna
work.
have to start off doing the coloring yourself.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the story has to actually be good with a plot and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then after years of that, you could get cancelled after 4 issues.
Oh my
All
gosh.
that for nothing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
wild.
You hear about the famous mangaka. I wonder how many of them keep trying and haven't succeeded. Like,
Yeah.
how many are there like 16th manga?
Yeah.
And this isn't even what they wanted to make, but it's still
Yeah.
popular. I just
Yeah.
wonder how often that happens.
I imagine all of these isekais are probably those people who failed
You know what?
their first one. They're like, I just need to make money to live.
Eat. It's been so long.
Cell phone from another world. Here you go.
Candyman in Another World, never forget. Vending machine in Another World.
Oh my
I'd be
gosh.
so mad.
There was one that I watched that was so boring. Like even with following the 3-episode rule, it was so boring. He's basically like somebody who's a not a city planner, but like financially he's a good like administrative plan. He's something about administrating in another world. Basically, that's it.
He's an admin.
They summon him to this world because they're like fix our administration, and that's the whole thing. And of course, he has a harem somehow. I was like, this is
It'll
so
be a well-managed
boring.
It's a managed,
It got a
well-managed
second season. I don't
It's
understand.
because of the harm.
The
It's the
harm.
harm.
But yeah, so we got all those shows that we're watching, lots of new stuff that we're planning.
Yeah.
Still on the back burner is the whole movie reactions. If the editor thing works out,
Yeah.
if he's capable of doing a very long editing session, then we could definitely do something like that because we were planning to do like once a month movies kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that'd be pretty cool to bring in like an influx of viewers, stuff like that.
Yes.
Mhm.
It would take something off our shoulders because editing longer videos takes a lot more time.
Mhm.
So if we can like film it one week, especially because it's a movie, we're not trying to get it out on a schedule.
Mhm.
So we can like even if after he edits it, we can like sit on it until we got a slot we want to slip it in there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, so it would be very useful.
Yeah.
I will say the process working with him was okay. This was a guy on Fiverr, by the way. I'm always scared of Fiverr. Just like I just feel like
They might scam me or something.
not
like
even
that.
scam, just like quality.
Quality.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there are a lot of cheap ones, there are a lot of super expensive ones. There's not much in between.
Yeah.
So you're trying to find someone who probably is decent,
Yeah.
you know. So this guy, he did everything I asked. The only thing I would have hoped is to get the project files. That would have made working with the Final Cut a little easier. Because then, if we need to edit things on our end, we can. But
Yeah.
the way what he gave us would still be able to work with. You just have to work around it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if we have to cut out video, but
Mhm.
I think he did pretty well because we try to bring our reactions section down to between 10 and 15, and that's what I told him, 10 and 15 minutes. And he brought it down to 12, so
Oh, very
that was
good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm curious to see, like, because you edited that video, because we didn't put up his edit, we were just testing him. So I want to see if you watched it to see, like, you could say, oh, he cut out like a really important scene, or that it's choppy or whatever, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest thing has always been pacing and how long are you going to be sitting on one scene. So if he just handles that well enough, I'm pretty much going to be probably okay with it.
Mhm.
But I really need between 10 and 12 usually, because 10 and 15 I usually cut it down anyway. But I'm glad he went to 12.
Yeah.
But did he seem good personality
Like,
wise? I mean,
No
you didn't talk to him.
personality. No personality.
No.
He was just like, yes, here you go. He didn't really want to. He wasn't in the conversation mood. I like laid out a whole thing, you know, talked to him, and he was like, "Yes, sir."
He's on the grind.
He's on the grind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if he's on Fiverr, he's probably doing it for a couple of people.
yeah, yeah. And he wasn't expensive, so I can imagine he's like
Mhm.
not.
Busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but. And then the other thing I don't really like about Fiverr is they take heavy fees.
Mm.
So, and I don't know how I used to use Fiverr. I can't remember how much they took out of my pay.
Mhm.
I remember they took a significant amount. They took a
Mhm.
significant cut, and they have fees that they charge me.
Mhm.
So it's like
Like,
How
so
much is this
fees
guy getting?
for the buyer and,
and
for
fees
the
to the seller. Yeah,
That's
I don't know if
wild.
it's still. It's been years since I've used it. It could have been changed that the fees have been passed through to the buyer,
Mhm.
and that's why I got charged the fees because I didn't really use it as a buyer before now. But I just the fees were like okay.
It would make more sense to charge extra to the buyer because that's usually what
Right.
like any like retail or any service.
Yeah.
It's like if I like you have to pay for the fees that.
Right. But I mean,
Incur-
to tip him
Mhm.
$5, it charged me $2 more of seller fees. $3 was $2 and like 80 something cents.
More than 50%.
Seller fees for a tip. No, service fee, not seller fee.
That's so
Service fee for tip.
stupid.
I'm like, this is a tip. What are you doing?
So I guess that's why I've seen a lot of people who start off on a Fiverr
And
and,
they
then they
leave.
moved on to like become like the official position of like a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Probably like just PayPal me.
Yes.
Instead of going to
Yeah.
Fiverr.
I mean,
PayPal
like,
would
I
be
feel like-
cheaper, you're right.
I feel like, yeah, if we do actually take this person on as a
Just like, can I pay you through Stripe?
yeah, like, can we not do it through Fiverr? Like, this is
yeah.
it'd be cheaper for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I give you $10, you'll probably walk away with like 4.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. From I remember it was they took a significant cut when I was using it. But
We're not
I don't
tipping Fiverr. We're tipping the person.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, tips are getting crazy and even crazier in the most recent years. But yeah, I think that's about it for this podcast, though. This is the first one of the year. Guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, you can see the Patreon down below if you want to see these weeks ahead early, or if you want to see uncovered of this or anything else that we do, or the little extra podcast snippets that will be going up relatively soon. Thank you very much. See you in the city. Goodbye.
bye.